This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
Things are getting worse and worse and worse for Donald Trump as new dangers raise their head. As the House Select Committee investigating the insurrection against the United States, the House Select Committee investigating the events of January 6th, the attempted overthrow of the United States government by way of armed mob attempting to reinstall or install Donald Trump as president of the United States extra-constitutionally, anti-democratically, with a fake slate of electors from different states, chanting, "Hang Mike Pence," stalking and skulking through the Capitol complex looking for Nancy Pelosi, ostensibly to kill her, with a hangman's gallows, but 1,000 feet from where they stood. They have decided, I'll get to the point here, they have decided they are going to forward a criminal complaint to the Department of Justice. This was talked about yesterday by Benny Thompson, Democrat chairman of this committee from Mississippi. Big day. Donald Trump's freaking out, not happy. He actually, I was going to read this last, but I'll read it now. He tweeted this, or he's posted this on Truth Social. "The greatest witch hunt of all time continues over and over again, and the people of this country aren't going to take it much longer. A giant political scam," he says. Seems threatening language in all capital letters. The people of this country aren't going to take it much longer. We're not going to take what, Don? Accountability for you? A level playing field relative to the justice system in this country? Is that what we're not going to take? I'm going to read a little bit from this New York Times article. House January 6th committee signals it will issue criminal referrals. Speaking before a formal decision has been made, Representative Benny Thompson said his panel has not yet agreed on who would be the subject of the referrals or what the charges would be. Well, we can hope that they're going to do the right thing here and have Donald Trump front and center as the focus of their criminal referral. The mastermind of the plot. Representative Benny Thompson, the chairman of the House panel investigating the January 6th attack on the Capitol, on Tuesday gave the strongest signal yet that the panel planned to make criminal referrals to the Justice Department, raising the prospect of a history-making finding that the former president, the ex-president, Donald J. Trump's efforts to cling to power after he lost the 2020 election amounted to a crime. If this was not a crime, then there are no crimes in America. If entering into a conspiracy to overturn a free and fair settled American election, to defraud the American government, to disenfranchise 81 plus million Americans, if that's not a crime, then what is? In comments to reporters that appeared to preempt a formal decision by the committee, Mr. Thompson, the Mississippi Democrat, said the panel had yet to agree on whom to recommend for charges or which crimes to name. But his remarks included a contorted attempt to qualify his initial statement, suggested that as the committee members wrap up their work, they are heavily inclined toward calling for prosecutions of those involved in the January 6th riot and the months-long election subversion effort directed by Mr. Trump that gave rise to it. And then there's one final paragraph out of this long informational article from the New York Times that I'm going to read to you. And then we're going to talk about what they're not really saying here. A criminal referral by the panel would be largely symbolic, the New York Times says, holding no legal weight because Congress has no enforcement power and no formal say in what the Justice Department does. The department has already been carrying out a criminal investigation into Mr. Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election, including the appointment last month of special counsel a special counsel who authorized a round of subpoenas after taking over. What they're missing here, what they're not saying, what they're omitting, is that by turning over this criminal referral, they are also turning over reams of evidence that is not yet in custody of the Department of Justice. They are turning over hours and hours and hours of not yet public sworn testimony. This is a massive head start, or at least a big shot in the arm, metaphorically speaking, to the Department of Justice's investigation. These are sworn interviews, sworn depositions, sworn testimony. Under penalty of perjury, they told their stories. If not for the January 6th Select Committee, we wouldn't have Cassidy Hutchinson's testimony. She likely would have been a character who fell in through the cracks that the Department of Justice wouldn't have interviewed. Maybe not. I could be wrong. But this is a big deal, and Donald Trump is feeling the heat. His all caps freak out is evidence of that. And this comes on the heels of the Trump organization being found guilty of fraud. And there will be specific repercussions for that as well. We have to hear from Letitia James, the New York State Attorney General. Not a good day for Donald Trump. Not a good day for Team Trump. Criminal charges will come from this. I don't know. I hope. I don't want to let my optimism and my positivity that just naturally springs forth. I don't want to have that color what I believe about this. But I don't believe Donald Trump is going to get out of this unscathed. I believe there will be some consequence. I hope it will be jail time. I hope it will be disqualification from running for office. We will see. But I believe there will be consequence, certainly for his lieutenants. The whole lot of them need to be disbarred, prohibited from practicing law as a direct result of their plot against American democracy and the rule of law. We will see, though. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. You can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Am I too optimistic? I guess that's ultimately the overarching question here. It is something I am often accused of by listeners of my podcast. And maybe here too. Follow me on social media. You can tell me there at Dollemore on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Dollemore. And if I bring you value, if I do something positive for you that you appreciate, please consider supporting my work, helping produce my work right here on this platform. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or you can click on over to my Patreon page at patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. Trickle, trickle, trickle. Little by little, action is happening. Little by little, momentum is being preserved. I love you guys. I appreciate you very much. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.